Deep inside the global financial system, there's a secret. A foundational piece of technology that handles trillions of dollars every single day is, well, it's quietly reaching a breaking point. Now, this isn't a story about some new threat, but an old one. A time bomb that's been ticking away for over 60 years, and it's just about to go off.
So let me kick this off with a question for you. Just think about everything that's happened since 1959. I mean, we've put people on the moon, we've invented the internet, we carry supercomputers around in our pockets. So what single piece of technology from way back then is still the backbone for nearly half of the world's banks today?
The answer? It's COBOL. Yep, a programming language designed when Dwight D. Eisenhower was president. It is the invisible, ancient engine running the modern world of finance, and it has become one of the industry's biggest and most dangerous vulnerabilities. And to understand why, we've got to look at just how deeply this stuff is woven into our financial lives.
So, to really get our heads around the scale of this problem, first we need to understand just how deeply embedded COBOL really is. It's no exaggeration to say it is literally the language of money. And you know, this isn't some new problem that just popped up. Way back in 1999, the whole Y2K scare was our first huge warning sign. It revealed just how much we depended on this ancient code. Then, in 2020, the pandemic hit, and government unemployment systems, also running on COBOL, just buckled under the strain. These were like the tremors before the main earthquake, which, by the way, a lot of experts are predicting is going to hit by 2026. And look, we're not talking about some small niche system here. A staggering 43% of all global banking systems still run on this code. It's processing your mortgage applications, your credit card swipes, your ATM withdrawals, pretty much everything.
And the sheer amount of it is just mind-boggling. We're talking about an estimated 800 billion lines of active COBOL code still running today. To put that in perspective, that's more code than Windows, iOS, and the entire Google ecosystem combined. It's like a vast digital continent that was built back in the 1950s.
You know, for decades, the thinking was pretty simple. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And for a long time, COBOL was stable, it was reliable. But a perfect storm of factors has now turned that stability into an active, escalating crisis.
So what's pushing this over the edge? Well, it really boils down to a few key things. First, the original programmers are retiring, creating what they call a talent cliff. It's a human time bomb. At the same time, the cost of keeping these old mainframe systems running is becoming astronomical. And maybe worst of all, these old systems are like a brick wall. They can't connect with modern tools, leaving banks stuck in the past, while these nimble fintech startups are just racing ahead.
And if you want to talk about cost, let's put a real number on it. It's been reported that a single major bank can spend upwards of $300 million every single year just to maintain its old COBOL systems. That's not money for cool new features or better apps. That's the massive price they pay just to keep the lights on.
So you're probably thinking, why not just, rewrite it all? Well, people have tried, and it has been a total disaster. A full manual rewrite can take up to a decade, and by the time it's done, the new system is already out of date. Industry reports show that 70% of these massive projects fail, going way over budget and time. It really seemed like an impossible problem.
But this is where the story takes a turn. Something new has entered the picture and completely changed the math. The arrival of powerful generative AI has given us a brand new key to unlock this 60-year-old code. And this isn't just a faster tool. It's a completely different way of thinking about the problem. You see, previous automated tools were kind of like using a really bad early version of Google Translate. They would just go line by line, creating this messy, unreadable hybrid that developers actually called JBOL, Java that looked and acted just like COBOL. But the new AI is different. It doesn't just translate the words. It understands the meaning, the actual business logic behind the code.
The magic here, the real secret sauce, is something called a large context window. Think of it like this. The old tools could only read one word at a time, but the new AI, it can read the entire novel all at once. It sees the whole story, all the millions of interconnected pieces of code, and it understands the plot before it even starts translating.
And that right there really gets to the heart of it. It's the difference between a clunky, literal, word-for-word translation and one that actually understands the poetry of the original and can rewrite its intent beautifully into a modern language.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But what does it actually look like in the real world? Well, this isn't just a theory anymore. Specialized agencies are now using this AI to perform what is basically open-heart surgery on the financial system with zero downtime by following a really precise process.
It's this incredibly careful 5-step operation. First, the AI maps out the entire maze of old code. Then it reads and extracts the core business rules, decades of them. After it translates all that logic into clean, modern code, the most critical step happens: parallel testing. The old system and the new one are run side by side on live data to make sure every single transaction matches perfectly. And only then do they make the final, seamless switch.
And the results? I mean, they're not just good, they are absolutely transformative. We are talking about a 60 to 80% drop in infrastructure costs. But look at the speed. Launching new features can be 1,000% faster. What used to take years now takes weeks.
And that, right there, is the whole ballgame. This isn't just some technical upgrade. It's a business revolution. It finally unshackles these massive global banks from their legacy chains, allowing them to compete and innovate at the speed of the most agile startups in the world.
So it all leaves you with this one kind of mind-blowing thought. For decades, modernizing the core of our financial system was considered one of the hardest, riskiest problems in all of technology. Now that AI is actually solving it, you have to ask yourself, what other systems that we've always considered impossible to change are going to be rewritten next?